Welcome to Real Herbalism Radio, show 222, recorded at Big Dog Studios in Eugene, Oregon. Today's show is made possible by the Herbal Nerd Society.
The Herbs in Action Summit, COVID and Beyond, is coming soon, May 8th. You'll want to mark your date, your calendars for that. I have the distinct pleasure of announcing to you today that the topics have now been announced on the Herbs in Action Summit site. If you would like to know what we'll be talking about with our wonderful speakers, Thomas Easley, Maria Noel Groves, Larkin Bunce, Phyllis Light, and Erica Galantin, please head over to herbsinaction.com. Get on our mailing list so that you're getting your emails letting you know as each piece of information and all our details start to come into place and we can announce them. You'll get that information right in your email box. And yeah, check it out, herbsinaction.com.
Place is hugely important to plants. The environment a plant's rooted in influences how it grows. So too it is with herbalists. We often begin life and our professional life with one idea of what we'll do. Then the plants sprout new ideas and we're hooked. Today we're talking with Yolanda Joy, herbalist and founder of Herbal Entrepreneur, about drawing inspiration from your environment. Now here are your hosts, Candace.
I'm Candace Hunter.
And I'm Patrick Hunter.
And welcome to Real Herbalism Radio. Hey, Yolanda, I am so glad you're here today.
I'm so glad that I can be on today. I'm really excited about the show.
Yes, I first encountered you last year for the Herbal Entrepreneur Conference, and I was really amazed by the wonderful selection of folks you had pulled together to work on that or to do that. It was great.
Thank you. I was actually pretty surprised myself. I was talking to some of my biggest herbal mentors and was able to interview them, and I was kind of starstruck talking to a lot of them. So I was excited with the whole prospect of it too.
That is it's a cool experience. We've had the opportunity to do a couple of the folks that we find the same way. It's like you get a little starstruck and you're like, okay, I had to calm myself down because I have to look professional. Right?
Yep, I can definitely relate.
Right. So how did you come up with that idea? How did you come up with the idea of doing, because that's not where you started life, is it?
No. I had quite a more of a scientific start, really. I went to university and studied pharmacy in Australia. And was intending to be a pharmacist, mainly because I liked chemistry and I wanted to help people. And that was kind of what my ambition was until basically towards the end of my degree, I met my now husband, who happened to be Italian. And so towards the end of my, when I graduated, after a brief stint in China, we ended up moving to Italy. And I wasn't able to work as a pharmacist in Italy. So I was kind of doing a bit of this and that and started a blog about how medicines work and was doing, for a year, I was just kind of dabbling around in different things, but learning about different stuff as I went. But there was this kind of a point where we actually we went to this town by chance. It's called Orsigna in Italy. If you've never heard of it, look it up because it's the most beautiful town in the world, in my opinion.
Doesn't every town in Italy claim that?
They don't claim that, but I do. This town is just amazing. It's a tiny little town nestled in the mountains, about an hour away from Florence. So it's close, but sounds wild and beautiful.
Sounds gorgeous. Gorgeous.
It's basically we decided to live here because we came here for 2 hours one day on a weekend, and I just fell in love with the place, and my husband really liked it too. And so we're like, let's just come back for the weekend. We've got to come back for the weekend. And we came back for the weekend, and it was a beautiful October day.
Oh, with all the leaves.
The day wasn't that great. It was raining, but that kind of added to the atmosphere because it was full, and it's full of chestnut trees here, and so the colors were just orange and beautiful, and it was just cooling to me. It really, really was.
Yeah.
We had this walk up there, and then that, and we were staying just in the hotel that night, but we were neither of us have proper jobs. Why don't we just move to this town? And we did. I was working as a medical writer on the internet, and my husband was get doing bits and pieces jobs as well. So we literally just moved to this town. And that is where it like really all started for me in terms of like my love for herbalism, because I was just like, it was the plants calling really, because especially because I'd come from Australia where I grew up was almost a desert, like very, the plants were very dry, and like these plants had medicinal properties, but I didn't really understand what they were.
Yeah.
Whereas when I came here, the plants that I was seeing, it was like yarrow and elderberry and St. John's wort and all of these ones that I'd like read about in fantasy books, which I really love. And I'd like, but this is like actually it in real person.
They're real.
Plant. I'm touching it. I'm feeling it. And like, that was just like, it, really grew from there. And then, that was actually how I started the conference, was because my interest continually grew. And eventually I wanted to start an herbal business. That was my kind of my goal. I had been working on the internet, and I still work on the internet, but I wanted to transition more into an offline business, working with my hands with the plants. And what I had been doing online was working, doing online conferences and doing website stuff for a few different clients as a freelancer. And I thought I could use my skills as like knowing how to do a conference and put it together, my passion, so that I could like interview people about how they were doing their herbal businesses and basically get ideas from them, inspiration from them, so that I could start to implement that on my own terms. So that was where the idea came from and how it all came to be.
That's one of the things that I was really excited about when I saw the conference last year, was that I've been seeing more and more people, at least, here in the States, more and more people who are studying herbalism and then they want to do something with it. They don't want to just study it and then use it just for home. Not that there's anything wrong with using it for home, but, you don't really, you have your own family type. And so there's these plants that work really well for your family, but then there's all those plants and you want to work with those too, but you need other people. So a lot of folks, I've been seeing a lot of folks trying to get into business and various aspects of it. And business itself, running your own business, is kind of challenging. It's not the same thing at all. Just because you know how to do something like, make great salves doesn't mean you're going to run a great business.
Nope.
Yeah. So
there's so many more different facets to it. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Yeah. So I love that you came to the herbs and to your business through those other channels. A lot of herbalists have like the grandmother that, taught them herbalism when they were really little kids and they grew up with all that stuff. And it sounds like that's not your experience, I assume.
Yeah. Well, like I played with plants, like definitely. I was like one of those kids that made concoctions and, perfumes out of like crushing the plants, the flowers into the water and eating this. I'm not sure if you have soursop's in.
We might have them in the south, but definitely not in the northern. Soursobs.
I don't even.
I'm not sure if it's even a proper word, to be honest. I don't know what the actual plant is. It
sounds like a candy.
Like we cook. Yeah, well, like it is like this grass thing that tastes sour. Australians will know what I'm talking about, but I'm not sure if it's actually a worldwide word that people use. But I like ate those and things like that. And wild yams, we used to like collect them and get mum to add them to the stir fries and things like that, which was
what do those taste like? What, because we have wild yam root that we add, and I know what that tastes like. It's not really delicious, let's say, in the tincture form.
The ones that we used weren't that delicious either, to be honest, but we just liked them because we picked them. Like they were like they're like a little you have to peel it like it's a little the dried grass around the outside, and then inside there's just like a little white bulb that you eat that part, but again, like I don't actually know what the scientific name of that is either. I know what it is at home, but like that's my studies were here, not there, and so it's
Right.
I have a different connection to there, so which
Yeah.
is interesting.
Yeah.
But so like I did play with plants, but I didn't have that kind of input from, like, I didn't have a grandmother who knew about herbs. I didn't have those mentors, I guess,
Right.
to show me the way. I think if I had that, I definitely would have liked it, but I didn't. So, played with plants, but like I always liked it, but it definitely wasn't instilled in me from childhood. No.
Sure. And then when you were studying pharmacy, were the plants at all connected with the chemistry that you were doing and learning, or not? Because I really don't know how that's done.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting from that side of things. Like because I mean, a lot of the medicines that we use today are actually derived from plants,
Right?
Originally. So, like if you think about aspirin and
Yeah.
they come from. I mean, even morphine. They have they're plant derivatives, and so they you can't really deny the power of plants, but it is from a pharmaceutical perspective, it's very scientific, and you need everything to be controlled and scientifically proven.
Right.
That's kind of what the protocol
science is kind of pharmacy is like a closed system. It doesn't want to. There's variation season to season, not good. I get that, but yeah, I've always wondered. I mean, when you're studying that, how much do the original plants even factor in?
Yeah. Well, I found the whole system very rigid, I think is the word I would use. Yeah. And that actually really frustrated me while I was at university. And I was kind of almost glad for the break when I graduated. I was like, I'm just going to go off to Italy with my boyfriend. And so we it worked out quite well for me. But the main frustrating point while I was at uni was there was kind of a set steps. If the patient has this, do this. Depending on if there was kind of at least this is how it worked in Australia, but there were the therapeutic guidelines books, which are the same books that the doctors use. Yeah. But and they are useful because of the reason they have them is because if there's a problem down the line, the doctor or the pharmacist or whoever it is that's responsible for making that decision has to prove why they made that decision. Sure. So they use this saying, I did this because of this. Yeah. But I found it so constrictive because it didn't it didn't take into consideration the whole person and the individual circumstances, and it was too much just this, do this, and basically teaching people to be robots, which I was a little bit against.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to find the right solution when you are that rigid. I mean, it works for this small selection of people, but everybody else, it's not going to work, or it's not going to work well, or there will be side effects that are very unpleasant. So
well, it works for the majority. That's why there are those guidelines, but it's just people are not the majority. Right. That the population is the majority, but an individual is not.
Right.
And that's really important.
Yeah. So how did you end up studying plants in Italy then? I mean, did you find somebody there, or how did you?
Okay, so there's a couple of different things. Basically, it started with books, I would say. So it was I was just interested in the plants that I was seeing, and so I started buying books. And then I think most herbalists would be able to relate when they start buying books and then you just keep on buying more books.
Yes, I know. We have a big library.
Yeah.
It's
very easy to do that.
I've definitely built up. Yeah. And so that was definitely one side of things, was just the books. And then the community that I'm in, there is also one of our best friends in the couple is in this community is a 70-year-old couple, and they've been really welcoming to us as a young couple moving to the community, and often invited us over for dinner, and then we would just be talking about stuff, because my husband is a very much a city boy, but learning how to kind of
right, small town is really different.
Yeah. And so he was interested in starting the vegetable garden and stuff like that, and the the guy of this couple is a great gardener, and so my husband was asking questions about that, and then the lady is like a fantastic cook and knew stuff about herbs. So we were just like talking and learning heaps from them. So that was like kind of like an informal mentor. But again, she's not an herbalist. She just like has traditional knowledge. She's more like that grandma that I didn't have when I was a kid. Yeah. Nice. So that's like, it was that. And then also I started doing online courses. So that was just kind of the most accessible to me because it was in English, but I could learn. And so I mainly did that through the Herbal Academy.
Oh, nice. Yeah. They're very popular and they're very good. They have they have a nice selection of teachers, essentially. Teachers and writers. Yeah.
I really enjoyed that.
So I've got to ask you, what are your top books for people who are starting out? Books. What would be your favorites? It's always really hard, isn't it? Or your top authors.
Well, like,
come on, there's a book.
One of my, one of the first people I asked to be part of the Herbal Entrepreneur Conference last year was Maria Noel Groves.
She's amazing, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Yes, she is. And that was like, that was where I was just like gobsmacked, really, because of I had her book in my cupboard, and then I emailed her and I was just like, do you want to be part of this conference? And she was one of the first people who said yes. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Yeah. I was like to my husband, I'm going to have an interview with Maria Noel Groves. And then so that was like really exciting for me. But then as far as the other, because I think I'm trying to think of I have like an encyclopedia book, which I found useful. I'm not sure which one it is, which I found useful at the beginning to get to know the herbs and medicine making book. Oh my gosh, I really can't.
It's hard, isn't it? Yeah, it is hard to, it's hard to narrow it down. I mean, I have the same issues. So
yeah. There I just enjoy reading them. That's and I've read a lot. That's where most of my knowledge has come from.
Have you had an opportunity to actually put all the knowledge to use there in your little town?
As far as clinical side of things,
no. Okay, I don't know, but I mean, clinical or just doing it, just.
Yeah. Just doing it. Yes. I like for myself. Yes. But I've also, this is like a relatively recent thing towards the end of last year. I started offering herbal experiences. And so this is you probably Airbnb. Have you heard of their experiences? So it's like an Airbnb house, but it's an experience.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that, because that's something that's just begun to pop up with a couple of my herbalist friends here, and I've been somewhat intrigued by what is that. So what does that look like if someone does an herbal experience? Yeah,
well, I mean, I can't speak for anyone, but what I did was I basically just thought of what I could do, and for me it worked out well because I look after my toddler most of the time at home. And so I was trying to think of something that I could do while still looking after my toddler and stuff. Yeah. So basically I posted an experience, which was like a 3-hour experience. We start where we live is actually like a little cottage halfway up the mountain, and the road doesn't get there. So it's
that's like an adventure just there. That's cool.
Yeah. But the road does get there, but a normal car doesn't. You have to have a proper forward drive to get where we are. So we drive up there, but so basically we meet down where the road ends, I guess. And then so the experience is to walk up to our house, and then so as I call it a forest walk, you go for a walk around the back where there's these beautiful beech trees, and there's a path that goes. I take them for a walk through the mountains, and we talk about the plants as we go, and I get to know them a little bit. And then we come back to our house, and then we do a bit of an herbal tea tasting. And so what I did is I basically I got my herbs that I have out, well, not all of them, but like I gave them a good selection to choose from.
Right.
And then, and I didn't actually even use teapots. I used like old tomato sauce jars with the labels ripped off. So that if you go on my Instagram, you'll be able to see pictures of them because they looked quite nice. But basically it was so that it was like a big glass bottle and you could see everything inside, and so the herbs were kind of immersed in the water and you could see, and so
sounds pretty.
Yeah, it was really pretty, but it was nice because we talked about the herbs as they were infusing into the water.
Nice.
Exactly. And then we tasted each one in turn and we're talking about what we felt from each of those teas. And then, as these were just simple teas, just one herb at a time. And then at the end, basically I had little tea bags ready for them and they mixed up a selection of the herbs that I had that they wanted to take home, and then put a little label on it, and that was the end. We walked back down and that was the end of the experience.
That sounds absolutely delightful.
It was fun for me to do too, and then it was also nice because of the people I was meeting were from this area and interested in other herbal products and services. Like they specifically asked me if I make herbal oils or if I would help them with other products, and so that was another facet that I would like to help them with as well. So that's
so is that one a business that you're still beginning to build, herbal products?
Yeah, exactly. So this is the product side of things. Yes, I'm definitely still building that. That's what I'm I'm actually more interested in workshops and classes than products. Okay. But I do want to have I don't want to have a big product business, right. But I do want to have products available for people who are interested at the workshops and classes, that sort of thing. So my emphasis is more on that teaching and people contact, because that's what I like and what I enjoy. But I do want to have that available there so that for people who don't want to make them themselves, they can access them.
Nice. And it's my own experience is that it's been really helpful to have tried different facets of herbalism. So if you've got experience in what it's like to make products, even if it's just small run artisan, small batch artisan products, and it's just a tiny little sideline kind of business, when you're talking to people who are learning from you, you've got some experience, so you understand what they're asking and why they're asking it. And you can communicate better with them about the facet they're interested in.
Yeah, definitely. That's, and it is also just I enjoy putting my fingers in all the different pots and learning about how to do it. And so it's just, it's a fun process, really. I enjoy every part of the process, but I just know that in the future, I wouldn't want to be spending all day making products. I would rather spend an hour making products and then more time talking with people or things like that.
Right.
So that's just knowing what I like, but still being able to communicate with those other types, like what you were saying.
Right. So it sounds like your excitement about working with people is part of what fed your interest in doing the conferences as well.
Yeah, definitely. That's I really thrive off of that. Which is it's strange because I do work from home, and I like alone time a lot, but I do enjoy finding out about people's stories, and I guess each person has their little expertise or what they're really great at, and I really like honing in on that and finding out what that great spot of that person is and bringing it out.
Nice.
So that everyone can learn more from it. It's it's a fun thing to do, get to know people and work out what their little secret is.
Well, and a lot of times we can't see those nuggets of gold in ourselves. Only other people will see them, and then once somebody reveals it to you, you suddenly value something that maybe in the past you took for granted, or you maybe even learned to not value it because family, friends, culture, whatever didn't value it. But now that someone has shown you the value in it, you can let go of all those old stories about how it wasn't good and realize how amazing it is. So I think the idea of being the person or being a person who can help other people unearth that gold is kind of wonderful.
Yeah, it is. It really is wonderful.
So I've got to ask you, do you have any plants that inspire you as you're doing that or that help you on that path?
Like specifically to do with the people or just in general?
In general, I mean, ones that are in general, but ones that have been like speaking to you more loudly, perhaps.
Yeah, well, like I love nettle as a plant. That's one of my and that's actually interesting because it does grow in Australia as well, and I liked that one as a kid as well. So that's but I didn't even realize that that it had properties until I was older. Like I really didn't realize. The only thing I just used to pat it as a child because it stings, but it doesn't sting me. But the
oh, nice. So when you touch nettle, it doesn't leave like the rash and the burning and all of that.
If anyone pats it the right way, it doesn't. It's only if you go the wrong way up the leaf, it sticks. Yeah, because of the stings are all outwards.
Okay.
So if you pat it like you would pat a dog down the fur, you'll be fine.
Oh, interesting.
That's why like I actually pick nettle without gloves, but you have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And, pull it up so that you're with the grain, because if you go against the grain, that's when you get the rash. But you'll still get stung a little bit.
Well,
but not too much.
A little bit's not too bad. I mean,
yeah, but nettle's definitely one of my favorites. But I also like do really like St. John's wort as well. But I like that just because of I really just like the way it goes red. Like I just love it. When you make a tincture out of St. John's wort and it goes red almost straight away, and you're just like, oh, look at that energy coming out of the plant. Like it's just you can see it, and then because the plant, like
it's dramatic.
The flower is yellow, but the medicine is red, and so just I don't know, just that concept of like the color. I really like that as part of that plant as well. But yeah. But I also really like elderflower, and I like dandelion as well, and mullein. I really like a lot of these. Like all of them. But I would say nettle and the St. John's wort are definitely one of my most strong ones, which is interesting as well as St. John's wort. Like in pharmacy days, that was like, ooh, St. John's wort, like because it interacts with a lot of the drugs. Like basically, if there was in the exam someone was taking St. John's wort, it was always the problematic case that they were doing wrong. Yeah.
Nice.
That's funny. So do you use herbs regularly as part of your lifestyle?
Definitely. In as far as like I definitely am more of a tea drinker than a tincture drinker. I do make tinctures, but I'm more of a tea drinker. But I also use herbs a lot in cooking. So so for example, nettles, I make nettle soup, and I can make soup that is just nettle, so it's like this green liquidy gold. Like it's but it's delicious.
There is nothing as good as like a fresh nettles infused, just themselves. It's so good. Yeah.
So how did your partner and your toddler think of the nettle soup?
They really like it.
Okay.
They really quite like. Even my toddler is like incredible with how he likes doing things. Like when I was doing the tea, I haven't been doing them the last couple of months because we're in the middle of winter. But in the fall, when I was doing the herbal experiences, he loved it, and he was like, tea, more tea. And it was just kind of the highlight of the show for them, and just really like drinking the tea with us and experiencing the whole thing. Yeah. And then the herbs, at this point, he's not a fussy either at all. Like he
nice.
eats whatever. And
Nice.
so that's a good thing. But like I also experiment with putting like I make green pasta with nettles inside the dough. And
That would be yummy.
that's when I make the nettle tea at the same time, because you have to cook the nettles a little bit before you put them in the pasta.
Yeah.
And then you drink the tea at the same time while you're making the pasta. But it's like that sort of thing. So I put it like into the dough, and then I also make bread myself and add herbs in there as well, all different stuff, whatever I have like there.
That sounds lovely.
But,
yeah.
just in general, in cooking a lot, and so I would say teas and cooking mostly. Also, yeah. And like skincare things, I have oils and that, like
Nice.
do some stuff like that as well. But that's the main thing, yeah. And like I took almost every day for 6 months, like a tea for breastfeeding when I just gave birth to my son. Like it was like continuous, because it really helped with stomach pain. Like I was like really amazed if I didn't take it for like a day, there was a difference.
Wow. That's, I mean, I'm not surprised. Unfortunately, when I was breastfeeding at that time, I didn't have herbs and I didn't have that. I was just on the very, very beginning. So by the time I figured that stuff out, I was well past that phase. But I mean, it's amazing what that kind of support does. You know?
Oh, it's incredible. Like I can remember like a couple of times when he wasn't sleeping well, and like I just literally put like chamomile tea in his sipper cup before bed, and like there was one time where like he just slept for like 10 hours straight all night. I was just like, that is amazing.
That's the point though where you kind of creep in, you're like, is he still breathing?
But he wasn't quite a newborn then, but like this was like at around the like I think 7-8 months, like that when he was drinking water stage. But I was still just like, oh my gosh, a whole night of sleep. This is amazing. Let's do this again tomorrow.
Oh, that is sweet. Nice.
Yeah. But they work. They definitely work. They're like the results they show.
They show. They do. They do. So it's been wonderful talking with you. I want to make sure folks can get a hold of you because you've got a Herbal Entrepreneur Conference coming up again, right?
We do. So it's coming up very soon. And I'm really excited about this year because we've got even more speakers than last year, and we're covering some really good topics. So like we're getting into more in depth about like the legal side of things, like how to do accounting for businesses. And then like, it's not just for any like specific track. Like we kind of cover the whole range. It doesn't cover the whole range of what you can do as an herbalist because there are so many different pathways, but we have like different tracks is what I'm calling them this year. And so it's like people who are like growing herbs, people who are making products or making products from things, or people who are selling products, people who are teaching about herbs, and then people who are practitioners, so doing that clinical side of herbalism. So there's like those 5 different areas that there are examples of people kind of implementing that and how they do that in their business. So there's people talking about like herbal subscription boxes or how to get a licensed kitchen and trying to all these different things, or like there's heaps of different aspects of it. And so like it's just been really, really fun talking to all of these people so far. And the conference is going to be a really great event. So it's happening on the 20th to the 24th of April this year. And basically it's free to join for anyone who wants to join up. So but you just go to herbalentrepreneur.com and you can sign up for free, and then you'll be like throughout the event, you'll get links to watch the videos. So there's like, half an hour to an hour session with each speaker. And Candace and Patrick were actually speaking at this year's conference. So
I didn't want to say that.
I'm really excited to bring these guys on. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I really hope that, like, because my aim with this event is really to connect herbalists with other herbalists and kind of build up the profession so that we can help each other, inspire each other, and motivate each other to to continue on this herbal path, because like it is difficult going at it alone.
Yeah.
But if we can share our stories and help each other forward, we'll be stronger together. Like that's what a profession is important about, and like we need to help each other.
We do. Progress. I'm really thankful that you're doing it, because like I said, last year I loved it. I'm excited to see what comes out of it this year. I'm excited to see the lineup you've got. I know folks, anybody who's interested or even thinking about possibly starting a business or being in business, or they've started and they might have an area they're struggling, I expect they're going to find good inspiration with you guys.
Yep. I definitely, that's our aim, and like it's all part of the community, really, just bring those ideas in and sharing and growing from there.
Okay.
I'm really excited about it.
Lovely.
All right. So is there any other ways that people can connect with Yolanda?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. So the best way is just going to herbalentrepreneur.com and signing up there. But I'm also on Facebook and Instagram, both of those, just like Herbal Entrepreneur. If you type that in,
okay,
I'll be there.
And I'll make sure we've got links in the show notes to those as well as to the conference.
Yeah, exactly. That's that would be great. The website's the best place, and then you can sign up for my email list, and there's lots of offers and stuff through there. So get in contact. I really hope that it will be helpful for you.
Yeah. Alrighty.
Well, as always,
put an herb on it.
Hi, this is Candace Hunter of Real Herbalism Radio and the Practical Herbalist. We recently picked up a new sponsor. Tony DiMaggio at Sacred Blossom Farms over in Wisconsin said that he would love to sponsor our show. I tell you, his teas are some of the most amazing, beautiful teas I have ever seen or tasted. He grows all the herbs right there on his farm. He uses polyculture techniques and biologically active soils. Gosh, my words are just not. I've drank too much of the angel tea is what I've done. That is it's a soothing, relaxing tea. It's got wonderful herbs like calendula and milky oats, fennel, lemon balm, and, honestly, the rosebuds and rose petals are maybe my favorite. It's amazing how beautiful this is. Anyway, they are our sponsors, and if you would like to enjoy a 15% off discount with them, you can go over to his site, sacredblossomfarm.com, and use the coupon code REALHERB15. That's all caps, REALHERB15. You'll get 15% off, and as a part of the sponsorship, he'll give us a little bit of the sale to say thank you.
The statements made about herbs and products on this podcast have not been evaluated by the United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. All information provided on this podcast or any affiliated websites is for informational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for advice from your physician or other healthcare professional. You should not use the information on this podcast and its affiliated websites for a diagnosis or treatment of any health problem. Always consult with a healthcare professional before starting any new vitamins, supplements, diet, or exercise program before taking any medication, or if you have or suspect you might have a health problem. Any testimonials, questions, or case studies are based on individual results and do not constitute a guarantee that you will achieve the same results.